everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thanks again for joining me here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Taking a quick look here at Caspa once more. I get a lot of requests for this one because of the fact that we do have a short position open with this trade, or coin rather, a short trade open with this coin. And I can tell you it's not going according to plan, but what does go according to plan, right? And so what we're going to look at is a few key factors, make sure we can double check, see if it's worth keeping the trade open or not. Honestly, this coin is showing a lot more strength than originally indicated, but it hasn't broken its descending trend line yet, and we could have potential, rising wedge on our hands. We could have a lot of different situations, but let's double check the data first. So if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. I hope you learned something here today. If you want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a site, link down below, and I'm more than happy to help you learn to become a better trader. Make sure you watch my Trading University videos before you get started too. We have a lot of people that are trying to get too crazy with leverage, when truth is you got to learn how to spot trade first, right? So anyways, a lot of things that need to happen. That's a conversation for another day. Let's look at Caspa in the big picture here. And before we get started, I do ask, just as a quick favor, like, subscribe, and comment below if you could, please. Just help us grow the channel. Deeply appreciate that very much. So looking at the daily time frame, see what's going on here. First of all, we're below 3 of the 4 moving averages. That's typically a bearish sign. Not a great situation there. But again, we keep retesting that level. So potentially planning to break here this 0.236 fib level. Okay, so again, the more often you test something, the more likely it is to break. We could see that happen. We are still below 50 in the RSI. Money flow index is low, and stochastic is trying to swing up here. So we got that general shift in momentum that's trying to occur with the MACD convergence on the horizon, but it hasn't happened yet. So the overall sentiment here on the macro is still bearish, right? It's not like completely bearish, it's not black and white, but we are looking mostly with the price action likely to continue lower, okay? As far as, again, the macro is concerned. And the reason why I say that is because we are establishing lower lie. So I'll say that wrong sometimes. I'll say lower highs and lower lies. I'm actually trying to say lower highs and lower lows. And with that kind of being the situation, oftentimes the price does break down, right? If you continue to do that. We can also see, of course, being below 50 in the RSI, money flow index is low with a tremendous amount of low volume. That generally is generally a sign of weakness. Okay, so again, based on volume and a lot of resistance above us, with previous resistance levels too, such as that strong concentration of volume at about 15 to 14 cents. There's a lot of reasons why the price action is going to have difficulty breaking out. Now, has it shown strength in the last 24 to 40 hours? It has, yeah. It is establishing higher highs and higher lows. So if we take a look at this here, we can see somewhat of a trend here. Now, the thing that's concerning about this, though, and that most coins are painting the same picture, is this is typically referred to as a bear flag pattern. Okay, so again, from a pattern standpoint, this is not great either. Caspa is showing that it wants to continue to break down as a potential reality, considering the fact that it's working itself into that type of pattern. So generally speaking, those do break down. However, they usually break down better if there's other contributing factors. We've already looked at the daily time frame, identifying we have some bearish divergences. We look at the 4-hour time frame, we are back up over 50 in the RSI, but we have been below that level for some time. So this could be a shift in momentum that might be allowing the price action to continue higher. Stochastic is swinging up for the second time here, as well as MACD still converging. Okay, so we got some momentous indicators letting us know it has good momentum. But if we look at all the moving averages, we're below 3 out of the 4 moving averages still on the 4-hour. So it's not a bullish sign by any stretch as well. So again, mostly bearish on the daily and the 4-hour time frame, with small potential realities that could come to fruition in the relative near future, right? So again, try not to attach yourself too much to patterns, but once more, we do have a bearish pattern here, confirming further downside is likely. Once again, Bitcoin breaks 70,000, which is the hope, the goal here in general for all of us to get Bitcoin to continue higher. This coin will probably follow suit. It feels like anytime Bitcoin goes up, it goes up quite strong. Bitcoin pulls back, it goes down just a little bit. So that's not quite the knee-jerk reaction we're used to with these other coins that we're seeing. Okay. Having said all that, we're above the cloud right now. Conversion line is right there at the baseline, and then the lagging span is not free and clear. So we've got 1 out of 3 indications letting us know that a long position is viable. The other 2 are letting us know that it doesn't have good momentum. We haven't broken free from this range, so there's no real reason to take a long position. So we have a lot of invalidations for a potential long, a lot of confirmations here letting us know the short position we have open is still in play. Again, is it a perfect situation? No, by no stretch is it. But until we break above this descending trend line, I'm not really going to be super concerned with the price where it's at. Again, that's me personally. This trade was a high risk, longer term trade. In other words, it's very loose, so I don't really feel too uncomfortable right now with it. But again, I know a lot of people won't listen to me. They'll use high leverage or they'll use high position size. You should usually, the common rule of thumb when you take a trade, folks, is to take no more than 5% of your total portfolio per trade. And the point of that is to make sure that you understand that you got to trade the same amount every single time you trade. Don't just increase it because you have more of a larger portfolio now than you did before. Find a specific dollar amount that feels comfortable and trade with that. What are you comfortable with losing? That's essentially where you're at. All right, so that's the best thing to kind of think about. I talk about that in my trading university, but I like to reiterate that consistently if I can. But again, there's no doubt that short term, this coin does look like it wants to break free and continue higher. We just don't have like a very clean setup here at all. I mean, most coins right now are not very clean either. But the truth is, there's a lot of macro bearish divergences for this coin still. So until we can kind of, invalidate those, there's no reason to consider not taking a short of this coin. Or more important, let me rephrase that. There's no reason to consider closing the short position we have open. But again, if you are, not really liking the price action so far, then by all means go ahead and close it. It's really not a problem either way because honestly, this coin is not. It's kind of it's a flip of a coin, if you will. Some as far as like the good and the bad stuff that we see here so far, right? All right. Anyways, when I see those things, I just try to avoid them. At this point here, I don't think it's terrible. We haven't had any invalidations yet, but if it continues to obviously break this descending trend line, that's when I'm going to maybe double check and considering a close of the position. But it's so low leverage, so low position size, it doesn't matter too much. All right, that's kind of just my thoughts there. I hope that you learned something today. Make sure you trade, with careful, concise. Let me rephrase that. Use good risk management. That's all I ask. Make sure you're not over leveraging, not using too large a position size. Because when you're in a coin, you're stressed about it. You're obviously doing it wrong. We had a lot of stressed out members this morning, obviously because Bitcoin pulled back a lot harder than it should have, and caused a little ripple there. So just chill, pump the brakes. It's all good, folks. This is nothing to worry about. This is not normal stuff. But again, leading into the Bitcoin halving, we're gonna have a lot of shenanigans continuing here, and I would just be ready for it. Okay, Bitcoin is a bit of a bug right now. I hope you learned something today. Thanks again so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take good care of yourself.